is there preparing. We saw that before. Is inching closer, setting up, meeting for live time, YouTube live. It's inching. Is it going to work for us? Is it going to work? We shall see. It's done. Hey, all right. Finally. Good night. That took a while. All right. Let's see if that's, let's see what we're going to get here. All right. Because that's still taking a while to get rolling here. All right. So let's see what we got. I see. All right, cool. There we go. All right, sweet. Looks like are we on here or what? Yeah, all right. Hello. Let's make sure we say hello, everybody. Hey, Paso. All right, sweet. Looks like we're on. Fantastic. Mucho gracias. Who am I competing against here tonight? It looks like I'm competing against Viva Frey. That Rat Fink. Hey, Angelo, loud and clear. Rick, right on. Viva Frey is on live. At 9 p.m. would be Matt Christensen, that Rat Fink. Mac Cheese from Warner Robins. Hope your day has been great. I've been fighting hey, Vic. I've been fighting the end of summer into fall allergy that I get. Hey, Dan, what's going on? All right, so I'm going to bring up your YouTube channel, Daniel. So just FYI, because I think it's hugely important for people who use the right capital to understand. So I am going to bring that up, but it might be just psychosomatics or whatever now. But every time it goes from summer to fall, I just like, bleh. I haven't worked. I literally didn't walk yesterday. Haven't worked out in 2 days. Just bad my head. Pulverizer, I noticed you had posted a comment on one of my videos that said you could have sworn you posted something. YouTube does an interesting way where they put stuff. Some comments get into the weight or the thanks, Faves. Where I got to hey, what's up, Kenny? Right on, man. Where they put it in the file that says to be reviewed, or review file or something like that. I review that file probably once every couple of days. It's interesting. So anyway, if you're posting stuff, it doesn't show up. I don't know. Gary says, can you only contribute to HSA with earned income? I bet you probably can. I don't know. That's a good question. I imagine Gary could just look real quick and find out. I just don't know the answer to that. If anyone knows, can you contribute to an HSA if you don't have earned income? I don't know the answer. But anyway, so if you put a comment on one of my videos and it doesn't show up, it might be in the to be review file, which is weird because all these bot chicks, these, showing off their stuff, their assets, those aren't showing up in the to be review file. They just post. It's weird. I'm like, why aren't those being hidden? Somebody said, hey Josh, Kathy the bot really likes you. I said, I know, I'm flattered. Oh, but it's not just me, John. Vinyl, right on. Denny, all right. Homer, right on. All right, good. So anyway, it's kind of funny. These bots are out like crazy. All right, so I got a lot that I want to talk about here today. We got a lot of Q&As I've been wanting to go over for a while. So it looks like Dr. Annette Bosworth is live now. Viva Frey is live now. Oh, man, I'm supposed to, hey, Marie, que paso? What's going on, PA? Who else is live now? Who else do I subscribe to is live now? Let's see here. I don't know if y'all follow Dr. Boz, Annette Boz. I like her quite a bit. Trying to see who else. I like the Dr. Berg, I think. Is that his name? Kind of Berg or Bergman, something like that. All right. My man Kerry says he thinks you can do a one-time contribution to your HSA from your 401k. I don't know that's interesting. It's something to look at for sure. The bots know the YouTube rules very well, don't they, man? Absolutely. All right. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go over this. I thought this would be pretty interesting here. Let's see. I got to go to share screen. And I appreciate y'all being here yesterday and tonight. And don't forget tomorrow when I'm doing my live stream with the folks at let's just bring up their channel, YFNA. And we got YFNA YouTube channel right here, YFNA News. You can see the 13th presents the conservative case of reparations. I can see my people get mad, say, how dare you, Josh? How dare you? How dare you talk about that? I'm telling you, you got to play the big game, the long game. The left is good at it. You got to play the long game. And unfortunately, many people on the right don't know the long game. So just, yeah, I don't care. Hey, what's up, Rob? All right. If you fly into Boston and you do have to be quarantined, Rob, do you know? If you fly into Boston, you have to be quarantined because I know like Maine, Massachusetts, and whatnot, they got a 14-day quarantine if you come from Georgia. So if you fly into Boston, you have to. I don't know the answer to that. But anyway, so if you stay tuned tomorrow night, I think it's at 8 p.m. Eastern time when I'm going to be going live stream. So if you want to see that, yeah, right there, as you can see. All right. Let's see what we got. So I want to share with you this article. This is my man. Oh, look, looks like he's been working out. This guy, my man Rajiv Rebello. I interviewed him about 2 years ago on life insurance. The dude's a freaking genius on this stuff, man. I enjoyed that interview immensely. I learned a lot from old Rajiv, and it looks he got a big old neck, so he must be a football player or a wrestler. Big fan, first time, long time. But anyway, no commission annuities as substitute for low yielding investment grade bonds. I've been wanting to read this for a while. I haven't even read the article, so we're going to read it together. All right, hold on just a second. Let me pull up myself here. All right, so hold on just a second. All right, there we go. I want to see what's. Oh, Matt Christensen said they arrested the freaking clown who shot those two cops in LA. Well, good. I'm glad to see that. Georgia. I think because everyone hates Georgia because we're Georgia. All right, cool. There we go. All right, hold on. All right, there we go. Sweet. All right, so I got a video with Rajiv Rebello that you should watch if you're interested in life insurance stuff. In a low yield environment, advisors need to use financial planning tools like no commission annuities to improve after tax, after advisory fee bond returns. Dudes, if you're paying advisory fees on bonds, stop right now. It's freaking nuts, dude. Nuts. A large bond allocation. This is where I always go off tangents. A guy who was Tom. All right, so I made fun of a couple. Who was it? The one I can't remember, but I like to make fun of investment advisory firms. Who was saying is Fisher? Yeah, they're advertising on the U.S. Open stuff, which I don't all that follow tennis that much. But anyway, the U.S. Open, and they're saying when you do well, we do well. The implication is when you do poorly, they do poorly too. And I'm like, well, the funny thing is, you guys been charging 1% for as long as the eye can see, as far as the eye can see, and yet the bonds are now at 2, 1. You know what I'm saying? And yet you're still charging your 1% fee. So as before, you might have been taking 20% of the bond market on investment advisory fees. Now you're taking, basically 50% on bonds on investment advisory fees. I don't know. I don't know how fiduciary can make that argument. That I just don't know. That if we're going to charge you 1%, we're going to on bonds. I don't get it, man. And stocks, no one thinks stocks are going to go through the 1982 to 1999 returns. I don't know how a fiduciary can say I'm charging 1% on bonds and get away. Now, what a lot will do is they'll say, well, on our bonds, as long this is what we used to do at USA, which used to tick me off. They say, as long as we have, let me just stop sharing real quick. It used to make me so mad. If you had a 20-80 portfolio, 20% stocks to 80% bonds, we charge you 1.25. So what, say you had $1 million. All right. We had 28, we had we'll say a 50-50 portfolio, 50% stocks, 50% bonds. The 50% bonds, we only charge, I think it's 65 basis points. The 50% stocks, we would charge 1.25 or something like that. So what we do is we split up the portfolio. We say, here's your 50% bonds to get advantage of the 65 bips. And here's your 50% stocks because it's going to charge the same thing. And USA said you can't do that. They actually were about to fire people for doing that. And I said, what's freaking nuts? So what they made you do is add one portfolio where you charge 1.25. I said, this is insane. So basically, we're doubling the fee of the bond side of it because somehow USA thinks it's impossible to manage between stocks and bonds if they're two separate different portfolios. It's all fake, man, fake news. And I never forget that. And I guarantee other people are doing that too. They're saying, well, if I only have bonds, we'll only charge you 65 basis points. But the minute you have any stocks, we're going to raise that because of stocks. And that's what they did at USA. And I'll never forget why I say, how can you not be ashamed of yourself for making that argument? The argument is so bad. It's so violation of SEC rules and we weren't fiduciaries, but I just sitting there thinking this is insane. So if you had a split portfolio, 50%, you would split it up, 50% bonds, 50% stocks. You said the 50% bonds were half price as the 50% stocks. The minute you moved them together, the bonds went up in fee by twice. It's nuts. It's freaking, the whole fee stuff just annoys me. I'm on a mission from God to stop that. All right. A large bond allocation has been a staple diversification tool for advisors to hedge market risk. In high yield environments, this is an excellent tool. Advisors can either hold the bonds to maturity, as I've talked about a million times this Sunday, and benefit from the high fixed income yield, or they can sell the bonds, and as yields decrease, thereby allowing for capital appreciation on the assets. In a high yield environment, bonds are great assets by themselves, independent of the diversification benefits they provide. But in a low yield environment, the value proposition is the opposite. Low yields don't justify the AUM fees advisors charge on them. No, they do not. Furthermore, the high ordinary income taxes owed on bond gains makes the net after tax, after advisory fee yield for the client abysmal, particularly if this a client is a high net worth and a high tax bracket. In a low environment, in a low yield environment, after the client pays taxes and fees, he or she makes significantly less for owning the asset and taking all the risk. So basically, again, we're talking about socializing the risk and privatizing the profit. The profit goes to the advisor in this case, though, where the client actually takes all the risk. And so a net after tax, after fee, gross bond yield, client tax rate on bond gains, client after bond yield, all right, RIA, AUM fee, client after tax fee, and advisory right there, 25 bips. Freaking nuts, man. As a result of this low yield, high tax rate dynamic, clients have a better chance of meeting the retirement goals using a 100% equity strategy than a 60-40 portfolio. He talks about, he models some of this. I'm not going to get to it now. What strategy addresses the high taxes and the lack of diversification that bonds pose in a low yield environment? One strategy is asset allocation, which is to put all your client bonds and tax efficient and strategies and things like traditional IRAs, 401ks. All right, we talked about that. Let's see what the other. Let's see. All right, here. As I'll show below, clients will be better off having their advisor allocate their bond assets to no commission annuity and have their advisor charge their AUM fee on the assets that have the same, then to have the same advisor allocate their bond portfolio to short, intermediate bond terms directly. So what he's saying is, look, put your bond stuff in an annuity and charge the fees on the remaining stocks. However, most advisors have a strong aversion to annuities because of poor experiences with past products, but they don't realize at their core, fixed index annuities are investments in tax-deferred, investment-grade long-term bonds that provide clients protection against interest rate risk. In exchange for providing these tax deferral benefits and interest rate protection, life insurance companies that issue annuities can earn a spread on what those long-term bonds are earning versus the credit that what they credit to the policy owners. When you remove the high upfront commission on these products, the after-tax return achieved by using these annuities is notably higher than what would be by investing in bonds directly. And he's using an intermediate term bond index. Currently pre-tax is 1.13. Long-term bond is 3.04. Commissionable annuity, 1.5. Non-commissioned annuity, 2.4. So basically what we're saying is at the end of the day, the non-commissioned annuity is paying more than the intermediate term bond index by more than twice. Let's see if he talks about where to get these things from. CanX, I think, is summary. Yeah, he doesn't say where you can get non-commissioned annuities from. Colva Actuary Services is Rajiv. It helps RIAs implement fee-only insurance, annuity, and alternative investment strategies to provide better portfolio diversification. Hey, I'm a big fan of Rajiv. Let's see if they got no comments. Anyway, I'm not sure where where you can get no commission annuities. I don't know, but that would be something to look at, and I will pursue that as we go forward. I am not a fan of single premium single premium immediate annuities, SPIAs right now. I just am not. I'm not a fan of SPIAs. I was a fan of SPIAs. You watched my first year of videos when the interest rates are basically at 3. I'm not a fan of SPIAs right now. I'm just not. Those are immediate or income annuities, the same thing. I'm just not a fan. So I stay away from those. I got no qualm with fixed annuities. I never had. When I was at USA, I used to use them all the time. And instead of using bonds, without question, fixed annuities were the way to go. They're guaranteed. They're fixed. You have no interest rate risk whatsoever. You do have a reinvestment risk once the annuities mature. What are you going to get for the new interest rate? But any kind of fixed income product has that. So I'm a big fan of fixed annuities for sure. Absolutely. As long as it's backed by a credible insurer, USA being one, which is one of the best life insurance agencies out there. But anyway, look at my video on this guy. A big fan. All right, so that's let's see what else we got here. So I want to talk about that. Belling. All right, Mary Barra is one of the worst CEOs today. Where is Mary at? Is she at? Yeah, where is Mary? All right, Gulfport, Mississippi, right on. Gulfport is nice, or okay. I don't want to pay some guy to read 10 games for me. I've been hedging my portfolio by building up a large position in Tesla. It's worked out well. Here's our Dwayne Wood. You see Tech yesterday beating Florida State, Dwayne? We'll take that. We'll take that. And that's good news. Gave fee-based investment opportunities, advisors opportunities twice with part of my investment. Lost money both times, but the fees kept coming. But they supposedly lose money when you lose money, man. Yeah. Hey, Jill, did you get the notice on time, Jill, or what? Who knows? I need to probably do something like someone was going live here, and they who was it? I forgot. They posted something. There's I think it was Viva Frey, and he posted something like 20 minutes in advance on his channel saying, I'm going live in 20 minutes. That's probably the way to do it. I don't see why fiduciaries can't charge fat fees as long as they don't take commission on products. Well, because they hold themselves out like they're holier than thou, like we're fiduciaries. We blah, blah, and like, hold on a second. There you go. Don't forget to paw the like button because Pablo just said he just made a noise. All right. GM, that's right. Mary Barrett, GM, exactly. Yep. And Nicola is a scam just like Elizabeth Holmes. Oh, man. Now she's pleading that she's mental or something like that. Isn't that funny? Hey, what's up, yo, Pappy? Wellington or Wellesley? Depends on your situation, Joseph. There's no way for me to answer that without knowing the situation for sure. The spread could be very big if interest rates go up. There's Tom. Tom Major's back. All right. My man Tom from Maryland. All right, man. Yeah, exactly. You want to maximize your profits, Jill, in the Roth because it's tax-free. Could not agree more. All right. The Fidelity bond manager said different kinds of bonds are best for different economic conditions. They made a killing in the Fidelity Total Return Fund by buying up certain kind of bonds. There's actually another article in here about bonds actually that says do not buy something about the bond market. You don't want to be in the bond. You don't want what was it? You don't want to be passive in bonds right now. You want to be actively managing bonds. I think here's my thing. This is going to sound counterintuitive. If you're going to hire somebody to run money, you hire that person to run your bonds. You do not hire that person to run stocks. And the reason we do this is because bond market dwarfs the stock market. It's not even close. And the bonds have tons of different issuance and all this. The stocks is just, the Wilshire 5000 doesn't have that many companies in the Wilshire anymore. It's nuts. It's like 3,700 stocks in the Wilshire 5000. There's just not many stocks to choose from. It's just not. And so, anyway, if you're going to hire a money manager, that person should be on bonds, which is why going back to Wellesley and Wellington, I'm kind of down with that stuff. I think at the end of the day, having somebody manage your bonds for a nominal fee is actually the way to go. What is the risk-free return? Sub 1, absolutely. Right now, the risk-free return, if we're just looking at 10-year treasury, which I think is adequate to do, 10-year treasury right now is 0.66, 66 basis points. By the way, you know who I was listening before I started this show today? MC5. Remember old MC5? Oh, man, it took me a long time to even be introduced to MC5 and freaking jamming. Man, that old late 60s, early 70s rock was freaking to die for, man. Oh, man. So good. So good. All right. Well, bond equivalents aren't as safe as actual bonds. Oh, not so true there, my friend. The insurance company, there is no, first of all, there's no volatility in a fixed annuity. There's not none whatsoever. So we know that. And the insurance company, as long as they don't go kaput, which most insurance companies are very, very safe for sure. I would argue a fixed annuity from USA is a hell of a lot safer than a GM bond for sure. Exactly, GM, says Harry. Right on, man. To to roll over funds from a 401k, you must first roll those funds into an IRA, and then you can make your one-time tax-free IRA transfer to HSA. That's fantastic, man. All right, welcome back, Tom, man. Right on. So RTL says he enjoys my channel. Hey, right on. Roberto. Hey, Jimmy, right on. Spend some time in the Outer Banks, soaking up the sun and playing golf. All right, man. No Pablo, he's here. He's here. He's just running around like a madman. You never talk much about tax-exempt bonds. My advice has been a bold. I'm not a fan of tax-exempt bonds at all, man. Not I've done videos on asset location where tax exempt bonds actually hurt your portfolio net after tax returns, especially when it comes to Social Security, brother. Social Security bonds, as tax exempt bonds, are part of your provisional income tax, which determines how much your Social Security is subject to tax. Actually, let's go to Right Capital. We'll run some scenarios here. So let's. All right, is 4% the best withdrawal rate I should count on? I like 5%, Salvatore. I like 5%. Any crumbled cookies left? No, man. I like 5%. So let's go. Hold on a sec. Let's go to I gotta go here. Let's go to Right Capital. All right. And we're gonna run to all right. So let's go over here. We're gonna move this guy. All right, we're gonna go to Right Capital. I got John and Barbara Sample. Let's move these guys around. I can't remember how old they are. All right, so check this out. We're gonna change a couple things around here. Let's make them let's make them 72. No, let's make 1950. All right, and we'll make her 1955. All right. So bear with me just a second. We got John and Barbara Sample here. All right, so let's go to net worth. And what we're going to do is we're going to put all this money in a taxable account. And yeah, there we go. All right, sweet. There we go. So we got $1 million in a taxable account. All right. Let's make sure we got no other. All right, cool. Let's just get rid of this for the time being. So we got $1 million in a taxable account. And let's make sure they're on Social Security. Let's just get rid of all this here. Boink. Let's get rid of this Krakow. Someone asked me why I use the term Krakow. Man, I got no idea. Let's just get rid of this for the time being. Boink. And that looks good. So let's make sure we're on Social Security. All right, let's just have them take it at, let's just say $3,000 a month on Social Security. But we're going to have him taken at his, there we go, good. And we'll say Barbara will have, there we go. All right. All right, sweet. So there we go. So now that should be it. Any other income, goals? Looks good. Looks good. It's good. All right, cool. All right, so let's take a look at the cash flows. We're going to go to retirement, and then we're going to go to cash flows. Let's just, oh, still got her. Okay, that should be all right. All right, so let's go to cash flows. All right, so what we got here, plan distribution. Oh, did I change it over to a non-IRA? I thought I did. Yeah, I made a non-IRA. So I was the same plan distribution. Taxable account. All right, cool. All right, hold on a second. We're going to go to goals. That's good. Okay. Income. I don't know why it's got, this is the sample I use for everybody, so it takes a little bit to capture what the software is thinking here. Hold on just a second. Now, why has it got plan distribution? I'm not sure. Total IRA. Okay. That makes sense. All right, hold on just a second. I want to see the taxes. Okay, gotcha. Why they got plan distribution though? All right, we'll just delete that and it'll come back around. Let's just, that's weird. It says taxable account. Why is it saying, do I got to put a cost basis in here? All right, let's just get rid of all this stuff. Crack. and crack. All right. You can see I changed all these names at some point. So you might see Maggie or Lanny or Peter, or I don't even know what I use. All right. So let's use cost basis. We're going to say, I don't know, we'll say, well, for Ginnie Mae, $450,000. Oops. 450. And then for cost basis on the total stock fund, we're going to say it's, oh yeah, see, it's still okay. Good. Taxable account. There we go. All right. For cost basis, we'll say $200,000. All right, there we go. All right, cool. Good. All right, so now let's go to retirement. We're going to go to cash flows. And let's go to cash flows here. There you go. All right. So their income, if we click on, we're going to go to 2021. We're going to show you their income. Their income is from Social Security. All right. So, yeah, right there. Social Security and Barbara's Social Security. So you can see between 2023, they got $92,000 of Social Security. I hope that makes sense. $92,000 of Social Security. I just want to show you guys something. And yet, whoa, how come they pay no tax? They pay no tax. They got $92,000 of Social Security. What are you talking about, Josh? They pay no tax. Even here, they pay a little bit of tax. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to tax. All right. So how can that possibly be? How can that possibly be? Let's go to 2022. And you can see here $62,000 of Social Security, of which only 14 is subject to taxation. We have them with 22,000 roughly of taxable interest and qualified dividends, which are not taxed. So what you can see here is we got 12,000 of taxable interest, 14,000 of Social Security taxable, which their total income for AGI is $37,000, but their total income is 63 plus 12 plus 20. So that's what 73. That's $85,000 of income, but their standard deduction is 28,000. But wait a second, Josh. They have AGI at $37,000. Their standard deduction is 28,000. Their taxable income is $9,000. Should they not be in a 10% tax bracket? C, senor, C. However, we got to go see why they pay no tax. Here it is, total tax, line 15. They pay nothing. So what's going on? Well, what's going on here? I had an email from some guy the other day that said, man, you got to look at your schedules. You got to look at your schedules. He couldn't figure out. I knew, nice guy, wasn't mad. But I said, you got to look at your schedules on the 1040. And here you see adjustments income, schedule 1, schedule 2. And I don't want the, I want the schedule D is for capital gains right here. No, we're going to schedule B. That's what it is for right here. We got $12,000 of interest, and that's taxable interest right there, taxable interest. But we also have 10,273 of qualified dividends, 10,273 of qualified dividends, which don't flow back into your taxable income if you're in the 12% tax bracket or less. I hope that makes sense. So we got 10,273 of dividends, which are their qualified dividends, qualified, as we can see by the 1040. Hey, it stayed at 2022. That's the 10,273 of qualified dividends. You see that? Qualified. By owning stocks, all right, because they're qualified, they do not flow into your total, into your taxable income. They just don't. Whether they can flow into taxable income, but they're not taxed because we're still in the 12% tax bracket. I hope that makes sense. All right. So now what's happening here is we have $12,000 of taxable interest. We really don't want that. Frankly, we don't want any taxable interest at all. So what we'd much rather do is just say, screw all that. Let's just, but I'm going to show you something here. So we can see we have no tax. Do we all agree we have no tax? And I think we go here. No, we got to go here and estimate. You can see we have no tax. Oops. Yeah, we'll go here. All right, so we have no tax here. All right. Now we start getting a tax. How come? At 73 and 74, we start getting a tax. And the reason for that is go to the 1040. Let's go to 2025. All right, so now we start getting a little bit of tax. Now here we got $96,000 of Social Security. Only $32,000 is subject to taxation. And the reasons we got 15,000 of taxable interest, 12,000 of qualified dividends. So we got $96,000 plus another, $25,000. That's basically $125,000 of income. Our total AGI is $60,000. We have $30,000 of standard deduction, which means our taxable income is $29,000. That's it. I don't know. That's taxable, and that's going to put us, basically at the still be in the 10% tax bracket. So we got $125,000 of income, and only $1,700 is subject to taxation. It's only taxable. That's nuts. All right, but it's going to get worse. So just because as we make more and more dividends, you can see here, qualified dividends here, 17,000, tax exempt, taxable interest is 21. So we're still getting a little bit more taxable. We got $111,000 of Social Security. We got about another $40,000 of income. That's $150,000, and we're only paying $5,000 in tax. Awful hard to complain about that, in my opinion. If you go here, 5% tax. That's a big fat nothing burger. All right. Hope that makes sense. So now let's go back here for just a second. We're going to go to profile. Let's get rid of the Ginnie Mae outright, and we'll just get rid of that guy, delete that, and we're just up the shares here to 6,000. Right. So now we got the Vanguard Total Stock Index is all we have. All right. So bear with me just a second. We're going to go over this. This is huge, man. This is huge. This is why asset location is critical. We hardly pay anything. 2.5% when we're 83 years old. Now up here we're paying something. We'll go into why that is. But look at that. So here we got, let's go to 2023, for instance. We got $22,000 of qualified dividends, $92,000 of Social Security, $92,000 of Social Security, $22,000 of qualified dividends. Our taxable income is $21,000, but we have a big fat nothing burger for total tax. Why? Well, because we go back to Schedule B, and we're going to go down here. Qualified dividends right there, $22,865. $22,865 of qualified dividends. It's such a beautiful thing, man. But look at all that money, and you're not paying any tax. Now, the question is, why later on are we going into pay more tax? Well, I imagine the capital, look at this. We're going to have, now our qualified dividends put us up into a higher tax bracket. We got $138,000 of Social Security, of which $98,000 is subject to taxation, plus our qualified dividends. Now we're in the higher than 12% tax bracket. So qualified dividends here are subject to 15% tax rate, which is still better than ordinary income. But the higher the dividends get, the more more Social Security subject to taxation, and on top of that, now we're above the 12% tax bracket. I hope you guys are following that. It's big. Still though, we got $138,000 of Social Security benefits, $84,000 of qualified dividends here. I don't even know what that is. $220,000. We got $18,000 of taxes. Wow, what do you flip and do? If we go to retirement, don't forget we have a cost basis of only $250. So we go to cash flows, retirement. And we're going to show you accounts here, and let's see. Ending balance. Here's our taxable account right there. All that's transferred to the kids tax free. All of it's transferring tax free to the kids simply because of step up in basis. All right. So now forget all that. So I hope that makes sense. Let's see. I got to charge this. Hold on just a second. Got to charge my laptop here. Oops. All right, so I want to show you guys this. Let's change that over. We're going to go to profile, and for simplicity, we're going to change this to all Ginnie Mae. So let's get rid of this guy right here, delete, and we'll change it to all Ginnie Mae. I'm just using Ginnie Mae for our proxy. All right, we're going to put 90,000. Would be 90,000 shares in there. $100,000, $1 million. Yeah. All right, that's pretty. All right, so we're going to say cost basis. We'll even say 967,000. All right, so we're not going to have any capital gains on the Ginnie Mae. All right, so now we look at tax. Let's go here, and it's going to be different because we're getting 25,000 of income or something like that every year. Let's take a look at taxes here. Let's go down to 2022. So here we got 21,000 of income. That's taxable interest. 63,000 of Social Security. So again, of the Social Security, only 13,000 is subject to taxation. It's not that big of a deal. plus the 21,000. So we take, that's $35,000 of income. We have a standard deduction of tax of AGI, adjusted gross income. We have a standard deduction of 28,000. Our taxable income is 7,128. It's so we're paying $713. It doesn't seem that bad, but I mean, again, we weren't paying hardly anything before. We weren't paying anything. Let's go to 2030. Now our taxes are starting to go up $5,000. Why? Because we have $30,000 of taxable income plus our Social Security. More of our Social Security is being subject to tax, and that's Ginnie Mae, which is a taxable bond fund. So let's go to profile and let's go to investments. And what we're going to do is we're going to delete this guy and we're going to go to USTAX, I think is not US. Oh man, they got rid of they don't even have the tickers for the USA bond funds anymore. Man. Oh, hey, thanks, buddy. Hey, everybody, here's Liam. Say hi to Liam. Liam had a tennis match and he won today. Yay. So I told Liam he gets to sleep inside tonight because he won. Because if he didn't, thanks, buddy. If he didn't win, he'd be out with the dogs. All right, so let's see here. I thought USA long-term tax exempt. Did they change the tickers on the USA funds? That's really going to annoy me. Hold on just a second. Because they sold to Victory Capital, USA did, but I didn't know if they changed the. Oh man, you gotta be kidding me. US. Yeah, well, hold on just a second. US. Nothing. Man. All right. So let's go to Vanguard long-term tax exempt. VWLTX. So we're going to go VWLTX. All right, wait, USA. VWLTX. There we go. All right, cool. All right, so we got about, I will say 80,000 shares or so. That's long-term tax exempt. There we go. Let's say the cost basis is $968,000. Hit save. All right. So this is a taxable account. We're going to get, basically I have the bonds paying about 2% or so. So in this case, it should be all tax-free, right? Well, let's take a gander, shall we? We're going to gander this. All right, so let's go to tax. No tax, but wait a second, Josh. Wait a second. Why are we getting taxed? What's going on here? We got tax-exempt bonds and Social Security. So again, let's do something again. I want to show you something. You ready? We're going to go back to this portfolio. And we're going to say we got nothing in here. I just want to show you their Social Security, because a lot of people say if you have a lot of Social Security, be subject to taxation. It just won't, man. I'm telling you. So let's go to, we're going to go to income. We'll say they're taking their Social Security, Social Security. We're going to say they're taking it at 70. Yeah, there you go. There we go. Sweet. And she's taking her Social Security at 70 as well. All right, cool. Now let's just put these guys at 70 right now. I guess he's 70 and she's 70. We're going to say boink 1950. All right. So both, who is it? John and Barbara are 70 years old. They're taking Social Security. We go to cash flows. All right. And you can see cash flows. They got 88,000 of Social Security right there. 88,000 bucks of Social Security, right? 48,000 for old John, 39,000 for old Barbara, 88,000 Social Security. What is their tax? Big fat nothing. Look at that. You see that, my friends? Big fat nothing. No tax. Doesn't matter how much you make in Social Security. It's not subject to tax if that's the only income. Look, can you see? No tax. No tax. So what happens with a tax-exempt bond fund? Remember, tax-exempt bonds are what? They're tax-free, right? Oh, are they, my gullible friend? Are they? Let's take a gander, shall we? Say, okay. So we just proved that, oh man, did I delete it? We just proved that Social Security was not taxable. So let's go to VWLTX. Is that what it was? Yeah. All right, we're going to go 80,000 shares of VWLTX. And we're going to have a cost basis, so we don't have any capital gain, $968,000. All right. So I just showed you Social Security is tax-free no matter how much you make. Did I not? Yes, we did. All right. So now let's say tax-exempt bonds are tax-free too, right? Are they not? Yes, they are. Oh, but they're not. Oh, what? No, it's not taxed horribly, but we pay taxes. We have no other income but Social Security and tax-exempt bonds. No other income at all. Why? Why is this happening, Josh? Well, I'll tell you. Go to 2030, and we can see we got $109,000 of Social Security benefits, but 34,000 of that is subject to tax. Why? Because we have $21,000 of tax-exempt bonds. Even though that $21,000 of tax-exempt bonds does not flow to the 1040, it does make your Social Security subject to taxation. So the only thing that we have subject to taxation here is based on our Social Security benefit. 34,000 is subject to tax. You can see the standard deduction, the personal exemptions. We have taxable income of $6,800, even though we have nothing but Social Security tax-exempt interest. If we keep going down here, we go to 2040, it's going to get worse because Social Security taxation is not indexed for inflation. It's the biggest scam ever. So here we got 30,000 of tax-exempt interest, but only 593 flows to 1040. 138,000 of Social Security, but 55,000 flows to 1040. And so we have 57,000 of AGI, gross income, minus our standard deduction, minus our personal exemptions. We got $22,000 of taxable income. Yeah, weird, huh? So anyway, that's why I don't like social tax-exempt bonds, because they do make your Social Security subject to taxation. I cannot stress this enough. The best place in the world to have literally is just have a taxable account in stocks, like we just showed you. If we go back here, profile, we're going to go back and make this net worth, get rid of that guy, and we'll just add holding VTI, and we'll say, I don't even know how many shares that is, 30,000 shares, is that what it is? No, oh, wow. No, not quite. That'll be what, 7,500? Oops. Yeah, we'll just use 7,500. We'll say we have a cost basis of $1 million for simplicity, and watch our taxes here. It's gonna be a heck of a lot less. I mean, and the reason it'll start to grow because we have more and more growth on the VTI, but still, look at that. When you're 80 years old, you're paying 3.6% tax. That's a big fat nothing burger for all the income you're generating off that VTI. And so we'll go down here to 2029. Look at 106,000 of Social Security, 49,000 of qualified dividends. There is no long-term capital. There is no capital gain. Why is there no capital gain? Because VTI, Vanguard Index Fund, ETF, they don't have capital gains. It's nuts. So we have $76,000 of taxable income, but only $2,900 is taxable. This is your tax. That's it. The tax code is a glorious thing if you know how to manipulate it, for sure. So, all right, let's stop there. We'll come back to that later if we need to. But that's fun stuff, if you ask me. So let's see what kind of questions, thoughts, comments we got from the peanut gallery. How dare you call the audience the peanut gallery? How dare you, Josh? All right, so. All right. All right, let's see. Google sucks, and I agree. We don't buy the. Robo investing is all right if you just absolutely don't want to manage anything. Yeah, I got no problem with that. Or just buy VTI and be done with it. VTI, put some money in cash and be done with it. What is the expectation when using a wealth manager? To beat the S&P returns? I hope not. That's the issue. I hope not. In fact, that's the thing that annoys me more than anything, Harry, is that the people, when they hire a wealth manager, the first thing they talk about is investments. It's not the clients, because my industry is trained them to say investments are what we do. It's nuts. Yeah, those guys are getting 2.2 on $1 million. Yep. Found your channel recently. I've enjoyed the content. Have you done any videos on ESOP distributions? Also, any thoughts of buying back military time? Go Air Force. Yeah, I mean, if you can afford that, absolutely would buy back military time. ESOPs, employee stock option, employee stock ownership program. Yeah, I mean, I've done some videos on various things, but I don't know if I've done anything on ESOP specifically. I don't know. All right, let's see. Roberto, the tax law sunsets in 2024. Who made that good point? Roberto says, Josh, the tax law sunsets in 2024. I don't. Yeah. The Democrat. No, but this is already focused. This already has a tax law sunset. The stuff on right capital is already has that and programmed into the system. So you can do one of three things. You can use the tax law as it is, and it sunsets in 2025, I think, and then you can make it where there's no TCJA, which is the Tax and Jobs Act, the Trump tax bill, which would be dumb, or you can make it all TCJA, which would also be done. So the software that you see already takes an account that the 12% tax bracket goes to 15, the 10 goes to, I guess, 10, the 22 goes to 25, the 24 goes to 28, and so on. So that's already set in the software. Jill says, why would you convert an IRA to a taxable account? No, you'd never do an IRA to a taxable account. I mean, you don't convert an IRA to a taxable account, you just take a distribution. You'd have to do Roth conversions, right? Or you're just saying that they already had 1 million in a taxable account, Jill. They already had 1 million. Yeah, right on. It does with this. All right. Grass on getting sleep indoors. Yeah. So Harry says the midterm, the DNC took back the House, but they did not take the Senate. The House can be gerrymandered. The Senate cannot. Trump pulled off something we haven't seen in our lives, which is the incumbent party not only not losing seats, but taking out incumbents from the other party. I mean, it's nuts, man. The amount of people they took out was never, I think, since 1920s or something like that. We hadn't seen it in the Senate. Now, we lost Arizona by freaking corruption. I'm telling you right there, that mail-in ballot, I tell you, that is some ugly, ugly stuff, man. That is some ugly stuff, that mail-in ballot. That's freaking evil. No other way around that. You notice how it always goes one direction, too? It always goes on behalf of the Democrats. It never goes on behalf of the Republicans. It's always been, I'm telling you, I remember I said this last week, Dino Rossi. Look at Dino Rossi in Washington and look up Norm Coleman in Minnesota. And then we saw what happened in Arizona. I think there's a House seat that went the same way. That's some evil crap. It's fake. Be it as it may, Trump won going away the Senate seats. We hadn't seen that. And I tell you, it's funny that they think it was a blue wave in 2018 for the House. Yeah, House is gerrymandered. Senate is not. No blue wave in the Senate. It was a red wave in the Senate. It's nuts. And I'm telling you, man, and hey, BLM, keep doing what you're doing. I'm telling you, BLM is obviously a Trump get out the vote machine because they're doing great. And I was watching the U.S. Open. They had a Black Lives Matter thing on there too. And I said, man, you guys are going to rue the day. I don't understand why you guys are supporting that group. Simply because we know what they've done. They're evil, I tell you. They freaking, shot cops in Dallas. They said pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Now what they're doing is nuts. I don't understand why people are throwing in with those guys. The only way I do is because they live in these coastal bubbles. They're all rich, like the videos I did on some of these rich financial firms. Let's see. Provisional income. Exactly right, Rob. All right. A lot of short traders seem to have gotten out of the market in the last week. Maybe this is a contrarian sign that they will go up. No, I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, Trump could lose Montana. I mean, but it's kind of like when they say Trump's going to lose Texas. They were saying that in 2008 that Obama could take Texas, and I mean, it just wasn't close back then. I mean, I lived in Texas back then. Mike says he changes his mind every week about whether to take Social Security at 62. I wouldn't. Let's see here. Okay. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so I want to start I'm going to start reading some questions on here. Hey, great, open my eyes to dollar position. Right on, Joseph, right on. I'm taking Social Security at 62, leave my investments for my kids to inherit what's left. I'm not going to argue on that. I'm not going to. I mean, I don't have any qualm people doing that as long as they make a definitive statement or thought on what they're doing. And if we can we stop this stuff that the average Social Security benefit is $1,500 a month? That's just stupid because that does not say at all when people took the benefit. I hate that. Like the average benefit is $1,500 a month. the insinuation is you're only going to get $1,500 a month. In fact, let's read this article. I'll tell you what, share a screen, go here, and we're going to go to this guy right here. How much will your Social Security check be if you made $50,000 a year? Well, hold on just a second. Let me see if I can't turn on the monetization so I can get some of that sweet, sweet BLM money that goes to the Democratic campaign via Joe Biden. He advertises on my channel. So let me get some of that sweet, sweet BLM money. All right, so let's see if I can't turn on the monetization. I always forget to do this. I know some people say, you run too many ads. I don't run any ads. I mean, I do what YouTube does. I don't do anything. I mean, my goodness, man, it's you do this, you got that. I don't have any control over that stuff. I don't. But if YouTube wants to pay me, I will be happy to take some of that money from their advertisers for sure. All right, there we go. See if that will let me save it. Does it let me save it? Hold on a second. It looks like it might. And I can start making some sweet, sweet Act Blue money off the Biden campaign. How much your Social Security check will be if you make $50,000 a year? So this is Robert. I don't know who these people are. So let's just read. This is from what CNBC. The average retired worker gets more than $1,500 a month from Social Security. With nearly 9 in 10 people at age 65 and older receiving benefits, the system is an essential part of our retiring. The amount you receive is based on your income, the year you're born, and the age you started to take money out. It was not designed to be your sole source of income, and totals are always changing. So you still need to be serious about saving. All right. They don't even tell us. It's just a video. Oh man, read more. Let's see. We can figure it out pretty easily, actually. Here's how to save. Okay. Well, they don't tell us. All right. Well, that might be some good articles for me to do tomorrow. All right. So let's run these numbers here. Let's cancel out of that. Stop share. All right. So 50,000 a year. I have my calculator. This is easy. We're gonna say you worked for 40 years and you made 50,000 a year. Indexed. All right. That means you made 22,000 in 1996, but it's indexed at a certain AWI, average wage index. So that means that 22,000 in 1996 is equal to 50,000 today. Hope that makes sense. The 18,000 you made in 1989 is equal to 50,000 today on average wage index, AWI. The AWI numbers are significantly higher than the cost of living adjustment by and large, too. Just keep that in mind. Everyone says, I'm going to look at the Social Security COLA. Historically, that has nothing to do with your indexing amount. I'm telling you, if this is new to you, please read my book right here. Shameless plug. You can retire on Social Security. And look at that. The ocean. Doesn't that just make it comfortable? You can take this book to the ocean and you don't even have to go coronavirus stuff because Governor DeSantis 2024 is saying we're never going back in a lockdown. And then you can look at my big smiling mug right there and sitting on an ocean. All right. So now you made, I don't know, you were shoveling poop for the county. You did that for 40 years. You made 50,000 a year index on average. All right. We're just going to use that for simplicity. So what we do is we take your 50,000 a year and we times it by, let's see, I want to get you guys on here. All right, we want to get on here. So we take that 50,000 a year and we times it by what? Who knows? Remember, you've worked for 45 years and we take 50,000 because that's your average to get the first number for our Social Security. You work 40 years, you made 50,000 a year index. We take that 50,000, we get times it by a number so we can figure out what our average index monthly earnings is. Anybody know? I'm waiting, man. So let's see what we got. All right. And while we're waiting, someone says, any thoughts on how to invest a lump sum work related in this COVID era? Rita, it just depends on third. Damn, look at my man Dan. That's what happens when you live in Massachusetts. You're actually smart. Not the people who live in Massachusetts and vote for those crazies, but the people who live in Massachusetts who love America too. They're actually smart. You times it by 35. Exactly right. All right. Or you can say, well, not 420 there, Bill. We don't want to do that. We times by 35. You divide by 420. That's 100% right. All right. So we times 50,000. We take our trusty calculator by 35. That gives us 1.75 I think I can write on this here. I don't know how to do it. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. So we take 50,000. Let me type this down. We're gonna say 50K times by 35, then divide, that equals 1.75 million, then divide that by 420. All right, so that will give us our AIME. All right, so we take 1.75, divide that by 420. But Josh, you're making a mistake. I worked for 40 years. You only take the top 35, brother. Only the top 35. Other 5 are going into the hands of, I don't know, Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. All right, so we take 1.75 million, divide by 420, and we get, and why was it 420? Because there's 35 years. We're trying to get your average indexed monthly earnings, your AIME, your average equals average indexed monthly earnings. And so we're trying to get your AIME, and that's going to be 4166. All right. Now, is 4166 your Social Security benefit? Who knows? Who knows? The chat is ahead of the video by a good 20 seconds. Okay. All right. Good. Good to know, pulverizer. Gotcha. So remember, if you work 50 years, 15 doesn't matter, man. 15 doesn't matter. So we got 4166. Is that your Social Security benefit? Is that your Social Security? That is your average index monthly earnings. All right, let's take a look. Is your AIME your actual Social Security benefit? Let's see what we got. No, says Carrie. That's in Alabama. That's right. So what we do with your AIME, we have to divide it into 3 bend points. We need to divide your AIME into the 3 bend points. All right, so the first, I think it's 960 times that by, Dan says, yeah, again, 90%. The next, in this case, it's only 4166 minus 960, 320. The next amount, divide 3206, divide by 32%, or times by 32%. So what we have here is we have 960 times 0.9 equals, I think it's 864, 320 times 0.32 times 0.32, 1026. 960 times 0.9 is 864 plus 1026. So we have a total benefit. In this case, total benefit will be 1890. No one said there'd be a test tonight. Right on, man. And if you failed, go back to the start. Anyway, so the total benefit here is 1890, but that is at PIA. That's at your primary insurance amount. So if you're born in 1960 or later, as is your old buddy Josh, if we took that at 62, we'd subtract, what is it, 30%? I think it's 30% off that. And we get 1323 if taken at earliest age. If taken at 70 would be, what did I say, 1890 times 1.24, 2343. 43. And there you go. Too late, already retired, says Pop Stew. So there you go, man. You got, that's how you figure it out. Easy. So when they hear $1,500 is the average benefit, it's just like, well, that's because a lot of people took it before their full retirement age. That would be a stock swindler. Plenty of money in that. Rob says he shovels poop. He does it daily. Man, tell me about it. Yeah, I will get maybe 29 years. So, and remember, just because I want to point out something too, what if you only had 30 years? 30 years of 50,000, 30 years of 50,000. So we take our trusty calculator and 30 years of 50,000, even I can do that in my head. That's still 101.5 million. What do we divide that number by? Remember before we divided the number by 35. In this case, you only have 30 years. So before somebody's working 40 years, we divided by 35. In this case, you got someone who's only worked 30 years. What do we divide that 1.5 million by? Anyone want to guess? Yeah, Miss MRG. The one thing I learned in high school is how to type. That's it. I remember sitting in class. For some reason, I learned how to type. I hated everything. I was also the sports editor the sports editor of the local, not the local, the school newspaper. And I did learn how to type for some ungodly reason. All right. So remember, let's see, not sure. So remember, you only work 30 years. You take those 30 years indexed. 35. Judy B and Carrie. Exactly. So even if you only work 30 years, you still divide that by 35, or you take your 30 years of average index times that by 35, it's still divided by 420. Exactly right. Got some smarty pants on here, man. Smarty pants. Yeah, if your dad died at 75 and mom at 69, taking that at 62 makes sense, unless, that's right, Ralph, rest are zeros. Yep, you got it, man. Unless you have a spouse that you want to make sure is good to go. I'm telling you, man, if you got a spouse like my wife, I'm making sure, because hell, she's put up with me all these years. I want to leave her the much as money as I can. All right, Joseph said, should he take Social Security at 62 as I have a dependent child? Yes, 100%. That's a different thing. If you have a dependent child, you definitely should take. Well, I say definitely. You definitely want to consider taking it early. Exactly. This should be on a shared screen. I guess I could have open up a Word doc or something. I didn't think about that. Yeah, good thinking. Utah's unemployment rate is currently the lowest at 4%. For those interested, Texas is 8%. Angela says, I would agree that the 4% rule should not be the end all. People should focus on expenses and tax efficiency with conversions. Yeah, I agree, man. Right on. The 4% rule, again, was created. I can't take it. And I'm not saying you, Angela, the 4% rule is created in a whole different era. And please, can we just stop using that era, because it has nothing to do with today. My wife will be affected by windfall elimination provision. Yep. So it doesn't matter for me. Yeah, but remember, Rob, the WEP is only like $455, man. It's not the end all that there would be. The GPO is different now. Okay, so David says, where should someone in their early 40s go to check their financial plan is on track? Many CFPs prefer to work with folks closer to retirement, but I just want to see if I'm on the right track. Hey, Brett, what's going on, man? I don't think you should. I mean, look, I'll tell you right now, Dave, what you do is you pay down debt, you throw money in the market as much as you possibly can, and that's it, man. I mean, you make sure your will's done, your beneficiary designations are done, you got durable power of attorney, you pay down debt, you pay down debt, you pay down debt. There's really nothing else to check. That's the thing. Everyone wants, I want to make sure I'm on track. It's easy. Are you adding to your debt, or are you paying it down? That's the first step. There's really no other way around that. And I agree with the other financial planners. What else are they going to do for you? I mean, that's what I tell people probably every day. I said, people said, I get this question every day. I'm just like you, what you're saying. Hey, I want to hire you. So it's not worth your money. So I'm telling you what to do right now. Pay down debt, invest like a crazy man. Don't take on debt. Make sure your beneficiary designations are in order. Make sure your estate planning is in order. Get a term life insurance policy, because term life insurance policies are as freaking cheap as can be. Read my book, Strategic Money Planning. Another shameless plug for my other book, Strategic Money Planning, for sure. And that's pretty much it. And then people say, well, what about tax planning stuff? I don't do any tax. I don't do tax preparation. Now, some people can make an argument that you should be doing. I would make this argument that you should do Roth conversion, not Roth conversions, but put money into a Roth 401k as opposed to a pre-tax 401k, traditional 401k. But that's kind of up to you, how much tax you want to pay. Certainly not paying my fee. I'll tell you that right now. And it's not paying a financial advisor's fee, because they just want to manage your money, man. And there's no reason to do that. So I would just say, I don't think you need to hire a financial planner. I just don't. But I get that every day. It's weird, man. And I just say, I'm not weird, but it's humbling. But I said, nah, dude, you're doing fine. You just got to watch the debt. No other way around that. Bruce, right on, man. New police chief forthcoming. Crazy times. Oh boy, yeah. Bruce is in Rochester. Have you been hearing what's going on up there, Bruce? I mean, is it coming down to uh, i- is it coming down like where they're coming to your neighborhood or what? I just can't believe that anyone politically thought it made sense to go attack innocent people eating in a restaurant. That's just nuts, man. How do I advise investing now to lump sum in an IRA with COVID? I just don't know your situation, Rita. I just don't know. So you gotta. I mean, I don't know. Um, all right, let's see here. Yeah, I told my wife just the other night to make sure she remarries if I die early, and she just said she's not remarried. So for you guys on the prowl thinking you can take old Josh out to get access to my beautiful, it ain't happening, brothers. She ain't having it. Trust me. She don't want no other men in her life. And I say that in all respect. Let's see here. Can I convert to a 401k to an existing Roth IRA? Must be converted to a separate Roth. Can I convert a 401k to an existing Roth? If it's a current employer, if it's your current employer, if they don't allow you to do, it's up to, if you're still working, Hans, at your current company and you're putting money into your 401k, they're probably not going to allow you to convert it to a Roth IRA. I bet they won't. If it's an old employer at your old 401k, yeah, you can definitely convert it directly to a Roth for sure. And if it's a current employer, what you can do is you can just say, I'm going to start putting my contributions to the Roth. Always remember that employer contributions go in the tax deferred bucket. Your contributions will go to the Roth if you choose that. But yeah, absolutely. D Tovar 2 says he likes me even though I'm a Trumper. I'm not a Trumper. I'm a Trumpster. Trumpster. Thanks, man. I offer it kind of cheap. Man, that sounds sexual, Steve. Jeez Louise. And you didn't even ask. You just took. I even, oof. I offer kind of cheap. You don't want to be getting near me, my COVID throat. Actually, again, I'm just fighting off my summer to fall allergies. I don't even know what's allergy. Every single year I get the summer to fall and just like, yeah. All right, let's see. Josh, I have 3 rental properties at cash flow of 3,000 a month. Wow. I'm thinking of buying a 4th, but should I focus funds on maxing out 401k? Yeah, I probably would, Medic. I'd probably add to your investment accounts. You're getting top heavy in real estate. I like it. I'm all for that, man. You don't want to get overly top heavy in one area. And this is why I said the last night on the thing. I said, man, I still think real estate is a good investment. I do. However you do it. Now, I don't know about the not foreclosures. What's it when people can't pay the rent? You can't evict people and all that stuff. I don't like that at all. This is what happens when we're always living in perpetual campaigning mode. If Trump were to allow people to get evicted, they're all going to, it's just this. Let's put it this way, man. At the end of the day, you don't have your private property if you're a landlord. You just don't. You really don't have private property if you run a business anymore either. You just don't. Um, the only private property you have, other than freaking with the Army Corps of Engineers and the Department of Environmental, all these people with the freaking wetlands and spotted owls and stuff, is that at least you'll stay home if you're told by Dr. St. Fauci to stay home. There's no property rights. Just come on, let's just admit there's no property rights. And this is a soft form of rent control. Rent control is evil, my friends. You wonder why there's no more freaking no housing in New York City. You look at rent control. You don't have to be a right wing economist to figure this out. It just makes sense. It's a take again, another taking. It's the government taking from somebody, and those people who have the rent control apartments, they sublet it out, or they're making money off of your property that you can't get under rent control. It's a freaking scam. Bruce is safe in the boroughs, right on. Yeah, me too. See, that's another thing, man, about these riots and all that stuff. Just can we stop this Civil War crap? It's just, I mean, my goodness, I don't understand it. I mean, I know there's some clowns out there, but it's just like I said this last night. It's like, you hear America is so violent. It's just not. It's not. It's in a small area of society, which sucks, which is what infuriates me about the whole Black Lives Matter thing. If Black Lives mattered, why don't they matter when it's young children being freaking murdered by drug lords? I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's a weird, it's insane to me. The only time Black Lives Matter is when it's a white cop. That's it. No one else cares about anything. It's nuts. And yet everyone else is free from that stuff. It's absolutely disgusting. It's, in my opinion, it's criminal. It's criminal that young children in these areas are being, they're there's a good chance they're gonna be shot. And then when I say I don't know what the good chance is, but certainly more than my kids, it's absolutely discriminatory. It's disgusting, and no one cares. As long as it's not a white cop, we're not gonna say anything. We're gonna sweep it under the rug. It's freaking insane. Then they say, well, yeah, because the cops don't get busted and accused and stuff. How many freaking black on black crimes are actually solved? Very, very few. That's a silly argument too. I get the argument. We got to hold the police accountable. I get that 100%. When the police screw up, well, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. There's a great video that my man Mark Stein from Stein Online, STEYN, steinonline.com, is Orson Welles. If I can find it, it's freaking fantastic. I guess I won't be able to find it, but it's fantastic. Orson Welles talks about, remember Orson Welles, that guy, and he talked about the police. He goes, we shouldn't have to prove anything to anybody unless there's some reason that they think we're committing a crime. We should not have to show ID. We shouldn't have to do anything. I said, man, that is spot on. And he goes, what is he saying about the cops? Because I get the cops have a hard job. We should make it harder because we should make it so there's no reason to pester. And I'm all about the cops, man, 100%, but it's not the cops. It's just what we want the police to do. We want them to we ask too much of these guys. For sure. And this is the problem I have with the Republican Party as it is today, is that, we always say, we're for law and order and stuff, but then when we pass these law and order laws, they never go away. TSA is still here. You still just the whole thing is nuts, man. The NSA is still here, all this stuff. Still taking off shoes at the airports. And it'd be nice if the Republicans for once in their life would say, when are we going to get rid of all this crap? At least freaking stupid Sandra Day O'Connor, when she voted in favor of affirmative action in 2003, she said 25 years and it should be done. Oh, hell, now we're 20 years into it. We're not getting any closer to getting rid of affirmative action. In fact, I think California's getting ready to vote against that too. And so it's just freaking nuts, man. It pissed me off because I'm sitting there thinking, all right, 25 years there, Sandy, and yet this is all, we're nowhere near getting rid of affirmative action whatsoever. Nowhere near it. And so we're still going to have a racialist society that we're living in is getting worse every day. Now the University of Michigan is saying non-POC cafeterias or something like that. Like, who wants to live in this segregated crap? I don't. Oh my goodness. Just going back to what I was listening to earlier today, MC5. Just a rock. Just hard rocking, blues oriented band. Where do you think they got that from? They got it from blacks, man. To live in some segregated society where it's insane to me. Who wants to live in that crap? I don't. You don't. Ay. Yeah, right on, Kirk. If BLM movement was real movement, Planned Parenthood would be shut down. Yes, could not agree more, man. All right. Thanks for the tip in your other video about Right Capital not allowing Roth conversions. If you do withdrawals, it would drive me crazy. Yeah, no, right on. Mike says, I think I'm okay. Their rent's still accruing. All right, here's Rick. If Right Capital, what needed to be excluded from monthly budget are income tax, home tax, insurance on car, excluded monthly budget. Yeah, well, as long as you put it in those areas, sure, absolutely. You just got to make sure, Rick, you put it in those designed areas for sure. Service-based business is always way to go. Low overhead and less inventory. I could not agree more, brother. How is the weather in Georgia? It's freaking, it's getting better. This summer times are just brutal. A little bit too much for me here, Nathan. Is that Nathan who asked that? Yeah, so 77 degrees right now. Not too shabby. It's calling for some rain here. Yeah, so we're going to be in the low to mid 70s the rest of the week, which is pretty good. It's just the humidity that kills me all the time. It just gives me, and once we start getting cooler, I just get tingling in the back of my neck. Let's see. My wife's sister. Joseph said he married my wife's sister. Well, she's got 5 of them, so there's many to choose from there, brother. Joe says right capital rocks. Kirk said he told his wife the same thing. Either I ruined her or she simply is the best. Yeah, maybe it's both. All right. So Steve says, Josh, what I think is a financial advisor should also help balance heavy savers. Some people want to save hard and don't enjoy life. Advisor will help earlier in life. Maybe. Let's see here. Hold on a second. Yeah, well, I'm not sure BLM wants to. I mean, BLM, they're not going to get a white tax. No one's going to pay a white tax. Look, I'm going on a live stream tomorrow to argue in favor of reparations. I do. And a lot of people get mad when I say that, but it's not a white tax. It's going to be, I'm telling you, man, this is where the right doesn't understand it. We are being used and abused, and our society is being taken out from underneath us by these rich foundations and endowments and all the wealthy hedge fund managers and all these guys. I do not understand why people on the right don't get this. They say, it's the sacrosanct not to raise taxes. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, do you not see what is happening in front of your very eyes? These groups are financing the demise of this wonderful country. They are, because these groups on the left think they will be excluded when the pitchforks come. I don't understand why people don't get this. And this is, I did a video today on, let me just read you this comment, which I'm just sitting there thinking, man, I can't believe people don't understand this. So here's the video I did on Arabella advisors and how they got only one black person in their 40 people. Hey, what's up, buddy? On their leadership board, one. And some guy says, I'm just reading the title on this one, so maybe I'm going to sound a lot like an idiot, but companies don't have to hire anybody they don't want. They could have zero black workforce, and that would not be one bit racist. I completely agree. Those days are gone, man. Those days are gone. We've been playing those rules forever. We've got to play the rules of Saul Alinsky. You make your enemy live by the rules they put on you. This is nuts. And if they're going to sit there, Pablo's, come on, buddy. There you go. If they're going to be the ones who say everybody's racist, then you got to hold them accountable to the same thing. The right wing just doesn't play long ball. It's nuts to me. I'm sitting there thinking, man, do you not see what's happening? These foundations are sabotaging this country. And I did yesterday, I sold a video I did yesterday, that $94 of all that stuff is going to left-wing causes. A good amount are going outside the country too. But we don't want to raise taxes. Hell, man, come on. It's a twofer. It drives me out. I wish the right could freaking see a little bit before, just beyond what's right in front of them. I wish they could, but they won't. And that's why the Trumpster is changing the politics of the right and left dynamic. It's no longer right and left. It's class now. It's class. It's populism versus the elite, for sure. You got the elite and the very poor, and you got the populist and the middle class. And we've been waiting for that. I remember 92. I was all about Pat Buchanan. I thought the same thing back then. He was a little bit on some of the things I don't like so much, but on other things, like, hell yeah. That's the populism we need, a middle-class populism for the Republican Party. But they're so hoity-toity, the country club Republicans, that, I've never. I'm like, would you stop that? You got to appeal to the voters. Nuts to all that. But, yep, I saw that. 2 police officers gunned down. I did a video on that, man. Well, I didn't get the question about the Roth conversions. I didn't. What Roth conversion questions did you have? I didn't see that. So I saw Rob W. Oh, you can do Roth conversions, Kirk, even if you got deficit cash flows. You can absolutely do Roth conversions. You can't do Roth contributions if you have cash flow deficits. So that's what Rob was saying. All right. Gotcha. What's a POC? Person of color. Yeah. Yeah. MC5, Motor City, Detroit. Right on, man. Yes, Harry, you do got to pay a white tax. White tax. All right. Let's see. All right. What part of Tennessee? I looked at Tullahoma. Temperatures in Connecticut are going down. It feels like fall. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hit 48. Come here, buddy. Everyone wants to see you. Hold on a second. Good boy. There we go. Here's the master. Here's the master. Oh, yeah. All right. Oh, Rob, Brady didn't do well. Oh man, was it bad? Was it bad? Was it embarrassing? Like he should have hung it up. Have you seen the Trump 2020 red ink stamps on Amazon where you stamp the back of your money and put it into circulation? Franklin, Tennessee. Hot in Texas. Yep. People make fun of the South heat humidity, but when it's November, we don't get any snow. Yep. Exactly. Asians have to pay the college admissions taxes, right, man? All right. Let's see here. Hey, Mary, what's going on in Connecticut? The real estate market booming up there? Look at Sleepy McGee. All right. If they get, okay. All right. 2 interceptions, one a pick six. Did the Bucks lose? I don't. Yeah, that's not good. I'm sorry to hear that. I was hoping the Brady train would kind of roll. I still would like to see the Patriots go and the Bucks go back to the creamsicles. The Patriots go back to the path to Patriot. That would be awesome, man. Yeah, look at this guy. Hi, Pablo. Everyone says hello. All right, so I got some questions on here I want to go over real fast. Good, a guy asked me a good one today, and then hold on just a second. Q&A. So this was an interesting question I received today. If I can get it open. Hi. All right. So this guy Kurt says he found me on YouTube. You're making me think about the future. We live in North Carolina. Our family lives in Birmingham. I'm 63. My wife's in 67. We have 2 grandbabies and want to move to Alabama. But he's been at a job for a long time. But remote working does not seem to be an option right now. Our home is 3/4 paid for, and we have very little debt. Right now, we have over a certain amount in his IRA. I know this is a crazy question, but are we crazy for wanting to relocate to be closer to family in Alabama and quit his crappy old job? We consider ourselves okay, and no, it's not crazy. So let's just say he has $500,000 in his IRA, and he sells his house in someplace in North Carolina. Let's say he's got $500,000 home, and of which he owns 75% of. So what's that? 350 roughly, something like that. 375. Yeah, 375. All right. So he's got 500,000 in his IRA, $375,000 in equity. So what we'd want to do, let's take a look at what the price of. Let's go look at Alabama. Hold on a second, realtor, and we'll look here at around the Birmingham area. And I forgot the name, the main town in Birmingham, right here. I forgot. We're see Bernie, Texas, where I used to live. Let's see, Birmingham, Alabama. So let's take a gander at some properties here. Well, there's a town right over here, but I can't remember what it's called. Hold on a second. Excuse me, buddy. Is you go through it whenever you man. You go anytime you go through Alabama, you drive through this one town, not Irondale. I can't remember. There's a highway right there, 20. Woodlawn, is that it? It's out here a little bit. Anyway, it's a nice little suburban town. I forgot what it's called. But anyway, so let's look up here. Well, Woodlawn. So what's well, probably not that one. Let's take a look here. Here you go, 315. Quarter acre. 2,000 square feet. Let's take a gander at this guy. So I'm like, look, dude, sitting on a quarter acre, 315, you can pay for that cash money. So now you got $500,000 in your IRA. You got no debt, no property. I mean, property tax are freaking big fat nothing down here. Watch this, right here, monthly payment. You don't have to worry about schools. $66 a month in property tax. You nuts? Look at that. Oh, that's fine. One car garage. You don't have to worry about shoveling snow. Look at that. Nothing wrong there. Got a nice big front porch with bricks. I'd do that. Got a nice front yard. Look at nice neighbor. Look at that. Green as can be. Fireplace, all that. You may or may not want to do some work in there. I don't know. But let's keep looking here. I mean, I would, hell yeah, I'd say get out of there. Look at that. All kind of looks good. Hardwood floors. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's not going the right way. Let's see what it looks like out back to make sure you got your garden. Oh, yeah. Look at that, man. Nice, nice. Oh, yeah. But I don't like the transmission lines, or is it just distribution transmission lines? I can never remember. So anyway, the point is that you can totally go down there and do fine. Let's see I don't know what the crime. Do they show crime rates on this stuff? I forgot. Nearby neighborhood. Let's take a gander. Median listing price. We'll do crime. Oops. There we go. We'll do crime. Red is high, so high crimes in Alabama. So that might not be. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, but there's a town right outside of Alabama, right outside of Birmingham. That is. Oh man, I had a bunch of clients when I used to. I forgot what it's called. I could have sworn it was North. It wasn't Tarrant. No, I forgot what it's called. Let's see what this guy is right here. 95,000, 168. Anyway, there you go. 399. Perfect. 5-bed, 3-bath. 2/4 of an 2/3 of an acre. Man, you are living life. You got big fat, front porch. Oh yeah, look at that. Kids can play right there. Grandkids come by. They can throw the trash away right there. All is good in the hood there, man. And let's see what this place is all about in terms of property tax. Oops, but it's big fat nothing. $111 a month, man. Nothing, man. Nothing. All right, so we see. Let's look at crime here, and look at that. Look at that. It's a relatively peaceful part of the good state of Alabama right there. Low crime. So, man, you're doing great. You can easily do that. So, anyway, going back is, should you live if you're in a crappy old job, yeah, get the hell out. Go enjoy it. Hell, your wife is, mid to higher 60s. She might not be around that long. You might not be either. You don't want to be sitting in a crappy old job saying, I got to keep working. I mean, the way I look at it, how much you actually spend when you don't have kids, I don't know, but I have a sneaky suspicion the bulk of your spending is going on your freaking mortgage. And if your mortgage is gone, the kids are out of the house. I'd be doing that. Hell yeah. Because obviously you want to be by your kids. Let's see here. All right. No, you can't use trust to evade taxes, man. Trusts don't evade taxes. Certainly, living trusts do not. Irrevocable ones don't either. Right, and the reason is simply because you no longer own the asset. I mean, you just don't. And so you're the grantor of a property to a revocable trust, so you can't have access to it anymore. And the trust itself, if it retains the assets, the tax on trust income is freaking through the roof, man. A trust that retains like $12,000 of income, it's called distributable net income. If it's not distributed, it retains in a trust, that is taxed at the highest rate with only $12,000. Distributable net income is taxed to the person who receives it, like I think Vinyl just said. I could not agree more. You can't evade. I mean, you can avoid estate tax with trust, but inherently that means you've reduced your estate by the amount you've given to the trust. And it could be subject to gift tax, maybe, probably not in this day and age because the gift tax and estate tax are so high, but you can't avoid tax. Trusts don't let you avoid tax, so they just don't. All right. What is the difference between taking Social Security? Someone already asked that. If you have a dependent, you might want to look at taking Social Security for sure. Well, I mean, Harry says a revocable trust or it can be used to shelter. What do you, I mean, you're not, man, you're not sheltering. I mean, because you have the trust, you don't have, it's not yours anymore. I mean, it's like giving away to Pablo. If I give it to Pablo, is that considered sheltering? No, it's taken out of my estate as a gift to Pablo. And that's, I don't know how anyone would call that a shelter, because someone's still paying the income tax on it. Now, what happens is it's not part of my estate when I die. As long as there's certain ramifications set up there that the IRS knows better than most people, I'm telling you, man. But Alabama's amazing. Retire for fun. Yeah, Alabama's fantastic. Huntsville, Alabama. Did I ever show you guys Huntsville, Alabama? I can't remember. Huntsville, Alabama. Can you please explain how the survivor with index works? Survivor with index. Can you please explain how the survivor with index works? I'm not sure what you're saying, man. Forge, not cast. I think you're saying something about Social Security. So once the first person dies, the survivor gets whatever that person was receiving as a benefit, unless they take it before the full retirement age. So if I die of making $3,000 a month of Social Security and my wife gets it at 67, she'll get $3,000 a month as a survivor benefit. As long she doesn't get both survivor and spousal and her own benefit, she only gets one. So she doesn't get both of them. She'll get my survivor, her own benefit, which will be more. And generally speaking, it'll be my survivor benefit more. If she takes it before she's at the age of 67, that's her full retirement age, it will be reduced. If she takes it after the age of 67, she does not get delayed earnings credit. So you should not take a survivor benefit after the age of 67. Doesn't make sense. Now, what you could do, she could take her own benefit, or delay her, take her survivor benefit early, even if it's reduced, and allow her own benefit to grow with delayed earnings credits until she's 70. That's a great strategy that a lot of people don't do, because the Social Security Administration always says, you're take the survivor benefit, which may or may not be good. But the Social Security Administration, they basically looks at whichever benefit pays them more, and that's what they tell people to take, and that's not good. IRA assets do pass without probate unless they're left to a trust or left to a will, or left, what's it called, with no beneficiary designation. Then they do go to probate, which is freaking dumb. Don't do that. Well, remember, the trust will pay tax if they retain the income. Always remember that. Revocable trust, Harry's right, revocable trust does nothing from estate planning, but an irrevocable trust is an estate planning tool. But the income, whatever assets are generating income there, someone's paying that, be it the trust or the person who receives it. That's just a fact. I think Harry's talking about the growth on the estate, the growth on the assets set to an irrevocable trust are removed from the estate of what's called the grantor, which is true, but there is still a process that has to go from me removing those assets from my name in order to fund this trust. The whole thing about a trust will shield you, or what they say, only idiots pay estate tax. It's silly, man. It's dumb. Because I guarantee I can show you how to pay no tax right now. Just give away all your money, you pay no tax. If I pay tax, does that mean I'm an idiot? That doesn't make sense. But I hear it all the time. Only idiots pay estate tax. Oh, okay. Only idiots pay income tax. Okay. I literally can show you right now how not to pay tax. It's just not to have any assets and pay tax. Hey, right. Yeah. Oh, we are right next to Huntsville. Madison, Rebecca. Oh, yeah. Let's look. I love Huntsville. Let's take a gander. Let's take a gander at Huntsville, shall we? So let's look at Huntsville. I'm a huge fan. Let's look at Huntsville, Alabama. Oh, man. Huntsville, Alabama. They just got their minor league baseball team back too, by the way. So I've done seminars in Madison. I've done at Redstone Arsenal down here. I've done seminars in, where do we do one? We did them in Madison at the MOA down there, at the Military Officers Association of America in Huntsville. Did seminars in Madison. Some other place up in Redstone. Yeah, man, Huntsville's fantastic. So let's look right here. Look at that. 165,000 schmackers. Not too bad. Then I went up here. I met with some clients up here someplace. I remember it was on the water. Look at that, dudes. Decatur, Alabama. Athens, Alabama. Maybe it was Athens. Yeah, it's Athens, Alabama, where I met these people. I had some clients up there. So you got 264, 4 beds, 2.5 baths, 2,300 square feet, a third of an acre. I watched the property taxes, my friends. Big fat $78 a month. Oh, can make out like a bandit in freaking Huntsville. It's fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, yeah, man. Huntsville is fantastic. Decatur, there you go. Rebecca says she lives in Decatur. All right. How does a survivor benefit if a spouse takes Social Security disability income at, let's say, 58 years old? Off the top of my head, I don't know. I think the survivor gets the full retirement age benefit, if memory serves, what they would have got a full retirement age, but I don't know. You have to look into that some. I just off top, without doing the research, I don't know. Wife is 6 years older than me with small own benefit, gets half mine when I file at 67. She'll be 73. Any reason not to take a 67, 62 versus 67 for her? Does she still get half of mine when I turn 67? Yeah, in fact, she'll still get half, even if you take it at 62, she'll still get half of your benefit depending on when she took her own. Their CU engineer, Colorado University, I imagine, engineer. So if she took hers at her full retirement age, and you take yours at 62, she will get half of your. She'll get her spousal benefit, 100%. That's half of yours. It'll be half of your, not the benefit you received at 62, but what your PIA would be. So if your PIA was 2,000, she's going to get 1,000, even if because you took it early, it was reduced. I know it's confusing as all can be. It took me forever to understand that. But if she took her benefit early at 62 and you file at 62, your benefit will be reduced, as will her spousal benefit. So don't do that. If she took her benefit at her full retirement age, which I bet she did not, yeah, you should absolutely file at 62. It will reduce your benefit, but it will get her 100% of the spousal benefit. Hope that makes sense. Marie says, I've worked 40 years by age 60. If I retire at 62 or 67, doesn't matter. There will be a zeros for a couple of years. Well, there won't be zeros for a couple of years because you've worked for 40 years. You have 40 years of earnings for sure, Marie. So there won't be any zeros. I can guarantee you that. Now, the question is, will the years you work from 62 to 67 be big enough to knock off some of those earlier years when you weren't making that much money? That would be different, but it won't be that big of a deal. It just won't. So again, the max you can make in Social Security is for taxes is 135. So let's say you made 135 this year and you made $10,000, even that's indexed in the first year of your 35 years of records. All right. Well, then that 135 you make this year will replace that 10,000 you made your first year. That sounds like it's going to be a big deal. It just won't. It won't be that big of a deal. I'm just telling you, man, it just won't be that big of a deal. And you can easily crunch those numbers to see. It's actually not hard to do. But you have 40 years. 5 of those years aren't going to be used. The lower earning year will be replaced by the higher earning years if you continue to work. But I just don't think it just doesn't. I mean, I got a video on my channel. In fact, even in this book right here, I talk about it. What happens? Let's see. Hold on a second. Julie gets a huge raise. Oops. I can't. Julie gets a huge raise. That's chapter 7. Julie gets a huge raise. How will that affect her Social Security? And the answer is it won't affect it much because she already has a bunch of years, and it won't affect you that much either. Even if you're making the max this year and you weren't making the max, 35 years ago, it just won't matter. Yeah, just remember, it's once it's almost like, so we can do this real quick. All right, let's just say you have 50 years of 35. We have 34 years of 50,000 a year. All right, so bear with me just a second. You got 34 years of 50,000 a year. All right, so we take 50,000, and we're gonna say that's been indexed, by the way, times 34. That's 1.7 million of average index total earnings. Your total index earnings, 1.7. All right, now let's say 1 year you had 10,000. All right, so you have 34 years of 50,000, and 1 year you have 10,000. That's index. That's 1.7 that's $1.71 million. That's not going to do anything. It's literally not going to change anything. So now let's say you work an extra year and you replace that 10,000 with 135,000. So now instead of having 34 years at 50 and 1 year at 10, you have 34 years at 50 and 1 year at 135. So I hope this maybe will make sense here in just a second. Now you got $1.7 million plus 135,000. So now your total index earning is 1.835 million. All right, so let's just crunch the numbers. We're going to crunch that by 420, divide that by 420. So your AIME is $4,369, $4,369. Your AIME in that 1 year where you only made 10,000 is $4,071. That's it. You can quickly calculate the difference here. So we'll just do that real quick. So we'll say, okay, 4,369. All right. The first 960, we times that by 0.9. All right. So 4,369 minus 960, 4. Bear with me just a second. I just want to figure this out. Times 0.32, 1098 plus 864. All right. So in this case, if you work that extra year, your PIA is going to be $1,954. You work the extra year for $135,000. I'm sure no one's following me here, but just let me get my thoughts together here. All right, so that's your PIA is $1,954. Your PIA is how much you get your full retirement age. Now, if your benefit, you did not work that extra year for the $135,000 and you still kept that $10,000 in the top 35, your AIME is 4,071. Subtract 960, it's 3,111. Times that by 0.32, 995 plus 864, 18,595, 18,599. So working that extra year at maximum to reduce the 10,000 one has given you an increase of your monthly benefit by, looks like about $90, 95 bucks a month, 95 bucks a month. That's it. And that is really the extremes. You're losing 10,000 and you're adding 135,000. And all that is doing is giving you an increase of about 95 bucks. You know, that's, we'll just say 100. That's about 1,200 bucks a year. So $1,200 a year times, 25 years, that would only give you an extra $30,000 in total Social Security to work that extra 2,080 hours, if that makes sense. And the way I look at it, if you're going to live 25 years and you worked an extra 2,080 hours, now that's not, no, we're not doing a cost of living adjustment. I get that. But we take that $30,000 more you're going to make in Social Security, divide by the 2,080 hours that you work to get that extra $135,000. And that's giving you a basis is you're earning $14.42 an hour to earn that extra 30,000 over the course of 25 years. I know no one gets that, but I'm just telling you, I don't think, I mean, it might be worth it, but if you're miserable and you don't know if you're going to last, or you're freaking trying to party with your husband, screw that, man. Just say, all right, I'll sacrifice the extra $95 a month and move on with my life. And I write about this in my book here. I'm telling you, if y'all haven't got this book, I write, look, it's not even, look, the type, I mean, that's pretty, see that? It's very short. Look at that type. And that's not nothing fancy. You can read that. Get it, man. Anyway, so don't kill yourself working an extra couple years to try to goose your Social Security. It's most likely not going to happen. Mike C, what's the latest on those born? Still think, yeah, well, we don't know until we get the AWI numbers, Mike. Yes, good question. So Mike asked about the 1960 stuff with Andrew Biggs. Let me see if he's written anything on that lately. AEI. All right, let me just see if I'll share with you what I'm doing. Then I'll probably get out of here. My throat's starting to get a little bit chalky. Let's look at Biggs. Let's look at Andrew Biggs, see if he's written anything on that recently. Oh, saw something on Social Security. Oh, state and local pension reform. Let's go to our scholars. Don't you always want to be known as a scholar? Yes. Let's go to Biggs. All right. There it is. My man Andrew Biggs here. Let's take a gander. All right. So he has nothing about the employer-based retirement savings are stronger than ever. Take that, freaking Boston College Center for Retirement Research and Teresa Giardelli and all these crazies who say, "Oh, we're all going to die." All right, so doesn't look like he's saying anything about the update for 1960. However, I don't think it's going to be nearly as bad as initially anticipated, Mike. But let's see. And he does have an article which I have to read. Trump's idea on changing Social Security has the potential to break an impasse on much needed reforms. Because remember, Trump's going to decline Social Security. Well, it's like, dude, you've been saying that since Goldwater. Can you guys get a new argument, please? But Trump made clear that his real goal is to replace the Social Security payroll tax with revenues drawn from the general tax fund. It's a hell of a lot different than saying we're not going to pay into Social Security, the vast majority of which is income taxes. This idea faces both practical and philosophical hurdles, but could help the political parties finally come together to fix Social Security. So can we stop the idea that Trump is going to get rid of Social Security by stopping the payroll tax? He is going to replace it with a general fund. Why? I mean, just stop lying, people on the left. You just lie. Stop. It's like they read one half of it and then they don't. I don't know what it is. They have this inherent need to mislead. It's the weirdest thing. The first problem with funding Social Security via income taxes is obvious. The federal budget is already in deficit, which means there isn't room to fund Social Security with general revenues without significantly cutting other programs or raising taxes. And the tax increase would not be tiny. In 2019, the federal government collected about 1.7 trillion in individual income taxes versus nearly 1 trillion in payroll tax. Even if the plan was replace only the employee's payroll contribution, that would mean an extra 500 billion in general taxes needed. Moreover, Social Security with income taxes is also contrary to the program's history. Yeah, but see, this is where Trump gets it. He's saying, well, we're going to replace it with a general fund tax, which means that we won't be subject to the earnings maximum, the earnings limitations. Right now it's 137,000. The payroll tax contributes to the view that Social Security is an earned benefit. Yeah, that means you have to work to get it. But most Democrats have already given up the idea on a truly earned benefit since their Social Security proposals focus on lifting the payroll tax cap and making the rich carry more of the load. Income tax financing would simply take that idea in a more progressive direction. I thought the libs wanted progressive taxation. With about 15% of earnings accrued to employees with salaries above the 137 payroll tax ceiling, almost half of total income taxes are paid for by households with incomes above that level. But what's in it for Republican? The answer is that an income tax financed safety retirement net need not be nearly as expensive as the current program. For instance, Australia's age pension costs only about a fifth of what Social Security does because it merely supplements households' own savings to ensure a minimum standard of living. Canada and New Zealand also use income tax finance programs to provide a strong base of retirement income. For this idea to work, the U.S. would need to follow Australia's lead by signing up every worker for a retirement savings account with automatic contributions. Those contributions could be used to fund the payroll taxes no longer needed to fund Social Security. Once transition to place, the result would be higher private savings, particularly for lower income households, which reduces wealthy inequality and boosts the economy. All the while, so income taxes would be higher, total government spending would be lower. To be clear, this is my plan, not President Trump's. But for income tax funding of Social Security to work, for it to overcome 30 years of congressional inaction, it needs to think creatively and offer something on both sides. Because the traditional menu of reforms, payroll tax hikes, high retirement ages, lower cost of livings, hasn't motivated Congress to action. This is the kind of stuff that, see, this is why I like Andrew. This is what we need on the right, need to be coming to the table. No, to stop saying no to no new taxes, say, okay, this is why when Trump wins, you're going to see an infrastructure bill like you've never seen before. It's going to be awesome because it's truly going to help the populist people of America, the middle and lower middle class people, for sure. Because Trump's going to say, okay, we're in Chuck and Nancy, and let's do business. And he's going to bring screeching Republicans, the Rhino Republicans, on with him because they have to. And then the AOCs of the world, fine, put them to the side. But the Chuck and Nancy of the world, the pragmatists, will go along. It's gonna be good. All right, my friends, 9 o'clock. I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. Much obliged for y'all being here. Again, I don't know why this keeps on when I guess I got to turn it off on. I don't know how to do it. I guess so it stays on when I'm done for some reason. If people think you're still on, I'm not. But appreciate y'all being here. Don't forget to my thing tomorrow night at 8 on the YFNA YouTube channel. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, comments, and put them in the show notes. And again, if you are here, just smash the like button. All right, we'll see you guys. I think I should go here first, actually. So what I want to do is, I want to stop this one here. Let's hit pause. I think I'm still got to go here.